I'm not the biggest guy in the sport, but I do have a name to protect. And when I saw myself maybe not making the main event at the Arenacross, I was like, what is going on? Anthony Rodriguez. I was born in Venezuela. I'm racing Arenacross for the Rock River Yamaha team, and I'm 28 years old. This is the third manufacturer brand that I've ridden this year. So quite crazy. I don't think I've ever seen someone race for 3 different teams, but that's how my career has been. And you know, it's been challenging. It's definitely not the best you want as a rider. But luckily for me, I'm feeling pretty comfortable with the Yamaha right away.
Yeah, so Anthony as a racer is what I describe as kind of a seasoned veteran. He's raced the GPs in Europe, raced down in South America for the past few years. So he's got tons of experience. He's only 28, which is kind of getting older in motocross terms, but it's still young enough to where he can step into tight racing and still be just as aggressive as some of the younger kids.
After a last-minute call to take on a brand new bike and team, Anthony finds himself third in points after an impressive 4-2 finish in round 1 of AMA Arenacross. However, it didn't come easy. After missing a transfer position in both the heat race and semi, he found himself in the last chance qualifier where only one rider makes it through.
When I was lining up the LCQ, I'm like, man, like I race World Supercross, AMA, like I've gotten top 5s in the world races and MXGP, AMA. Like, you know, I'm not the biggest guy in the sport, but I do have a name to protect. And when I saw myself maybe not making the main event at the Arenacross, I was like, what is going on? It wasn't a good feeling. I mean, this is our job. You've got to get frustrated sometimes if you really do love what you do. You can't be content with being at the LCQ, you know? So I knew how important it was. Anxiety was high. I knew I needed to win, but I got it done. Long story short, I was basically the last guy to make it into the main event, and it went good. I ended up getting second in the last main. So from almost thinking I wasn't going to race the main event to getting a second, it was a good night. Hopefully today I don't have to go through the hard process, and maybe I'll just make it in right away. This is going to be my second time racing that kind of format, so now I know what to expect, so it should be better.
So this is the 17th year Rock River Racing is competing professionally. You know, the main focus has always been Supercross, motocross. Last year they introduced the SMX rounds. We decided to start the Arenacross division. It was going to be originally Jace Owen competing in this series. Unfortunately, Jace Owen got hurt last week racing down in Australia for the World Supercross. So everything was already in place. Bikes were built, transported, gear made with our Arenacross sponsors and everything's, you know, headed to Boise here. So luckily, you know, within a couple phone calls to A-Rod, he agreed to fly out. He went from Australia to Florida, here to Boise. And after night 1, I mean, just to step on our 250 race bike and be competitive every time out, doing every lap possible, which maybe was a blessing by the end of the night, you know, getting more comfortable for that last main. But yeah, he's been doing a great job for us.
Coming into this, you know, I only got the phone call, I think it was maybe Wednesday, so like 3 days before I flew here. But right now, I know I'm capable of winning. I knew that before I came here, but I also knew there was no expectation, so that's kind of cool. And maybe I need to learn something from it because I'm riding pretty good, not setting a high standard. So maybe I'll do that in the future as well.
The heat race was not very good for me. I got block pass in the second turn and I went for the block pass in another person in the third turn. And I came in there hot, but if I would have been able to brake, I would have just block past him, but I actually hit on the brakes. It was way sleeper than I thought, and I kind of just slid into him, and both of us crashed. And then just now in the semi, I started, I think, third, got into second on the whoops, and then just ride her home, making sure we make it to the main.
When you go to line, you don't say much to him because he's just experienced enough to know what to do. And then when he comes off, you make sure the bike's okay and see if he wants to change anything and go from there. With him, it's usually, nope, we're good, and off he goes. It's nice to work with him because he knows kind of what he wants and how he wants to adjust it in different ways, so it's not so much a guessing game, and he can be real specific on that. On the tracks, pretty much just watch him go, and then he knows what he did or didn't do usually, so you don't have to really say a whole lot there to him.
We had a crash in the start, and I landed weird, and my shoulder somewhat, like, it didn't fully dislocate, it kind of like just popped halfway out, and then I couldn't get it to get back in because it was so cold and I was tensed up. I finally was able to walk back, get fully relaxed, and my team manager just kind of pulled on it, went up on it, and it finally went back in place. I feel fine now, but I don't think it's smart for me to go line up again, so we'll save it for next time.